Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Apocalypse Soon. And now here he is, Mr. Eddie Pepitone.
Hey everybody, welcome to Apocalypse Soon, a podcast with no upside. And I am taping this from Greensboro, North Carolina, in a beautiful house. We're staying for a couple of days in this beautiful house with two dogs, a friend of JT Habersat's, my comedy partner, my comedy guru, not my guru, but my great comedy partner, and we travel the country. We're in Greensboro right now. I don't know if you could hear, but I've got a little bit of a cold. I've been battling, I'm just a little, I feel good. The shows have been good. I've been just a little run down, and I'm so happy to be around dogs. And we're by this great, beautiful lake and pond, and it's good to be here. Last night, we were performing at a place called the Idiot Box, owned by Jenny Stencil. Just a lovely, lovely person, comedian. And, I've been doing this character where I come out in these crazy glasses I found in a green room in Louisville at the Planet of the Tapes, another place where we performed, a great place. And I have these like crazy sunglasses that have speckles and fake diamonds all over, and I come out yelling, I'm on acid. I don't know where I am or what dimension I am. I'm screaming this when I first come out, and the people in the audience were like, what the fuck is going on? Last night they really didn't get it, and anyway, it was a really good set. But it's so funny to go out there as a comic thinking you're going to kill with a certain bit, and it doesn't kill, and you just have to address it like, oh, okay, so you're gonna make me work tonight, huh, you motherfuckers? So anyway, here I am. We have another, I believe, week on the road. We're doing Tennessee and Georgia, and I'm looking at butterflies, and there's a lot of I don't know if they're monarchs. I think they're swallowtails. Beautiful butterflies surrounding me. It's hard to talk about the apocalypse when you're in gorgeous nature, but I'll give it a try. We are in the end times, folks. It'd be funny if, I take people on retreats in beautiful nature, and instead of telling them what fauna we are looking at, what species we're looking at, I just start saying, you see these trees? They will be no more. We will be no more. The floods, the fires, it will all wipe us out. Thank you for coming on this hike with Pepitone Hikes. So I'll be doing that kind of stuff. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this show. I just record the bits from wherever I am. I'm gonna interview one of the local comics here in North Carolina, and I hope you enjoy this show. Go to eddiepepitone.com to see where I'm playing. Become a Patreon member, patreon.com/Eddie Pepitone. Review us, me and my incredible producer and cohort, partner in crime, Kevin Tinkin, who puts this all together in a beautiful way. Give us a review on Apple, iTunes, all of this stuff, all the places where you can review podcasts. Please throw up a review and rate us. It draws more people to us. It draws more people into my lair. So become a Patreon member, patreon.com/Eddie Pepitone, and please enjoy this podcast.
And now enjoy the last newscaster on Earth.
Hello, I am the last newscaster on Earth. My name is Fred 1279 square root of 8. That is the name I came up with as I ran it through my computer that is dead. Hello, welcome. Our top story tonight. I am insane. I am absolutely out of my mind. I have a dog that's a robot. It is weaponized. I keep laughing because I am insane. That's our top story tonight. I am untethered from reality as the eco-catastrophe, as the fascism, as the nuclear winter has taken hold of this great land. As far as I know, I'm broadcasting to no one, and I don't care anymore. I just have to do it. I have to do it. Okay, what else is in the news? Nothing. Nothing else is in the news. It's just a disaster. Every day that I wake up, I curse the gods. I curse the heavens. The nuclear winter just lays heavy on me, and I know I have to do the news to no one. I don't know if anyone is listening, but if you are, please send help. I'm in the CNN newsroom. My name is Fred, 1278 square root of 10. I don't know if that's the same number I gave you a while ago or the same name. It doesn't matter. I have a robot dog that is equipped with weapons. I was able to get the robot dog when I wandered out into the landscape of the doomed, which is where I live. I haven't seen another person, another human being to talk to now for about, let's say 7 years. Okay, our top story tonight, I'm insane. I am really insane. But I'm trying to love myself. I'm trying to love myself. Because if there's one thing that my therapist told me before the nuclear winter came and before the ecosystem completely collapsed, he told me, Fred, 12798 square root of 10, you have to love yourself, especially when there's no one else, Fred. Now let's go to me for sports. Okay, all the local teams destroyed in the nuclear winter. All the local teams destroyed. Nobody in first place. Nobody in second place. Nobody in third place. But time marches on and I remain alone. Back to you, Fred 1279 square root of 10. Thank you, Fred 1279 square root of 10. And now over to me for weather. The weather is ominous. The weather keeps getting worse. As you can see by the map that doesn't exist, we have nothing coming in to a barren nuclear wasteland. Nothing. So bring your umbrellas for some fucking reason. That's what we say. Bring your umbrellas. Oh, God. Now back to Fred. Who gives a shit?
Thanks for joining us for the last newscaster on Earth. And now relieve your mind and relax your spirit on Guided Meditation with Eddie Pepitone.
Okay, everybody. Okay. I want everybody. It's been a toxic few years, folks, so let's just breathe that out. Breathe out the last few toxic years. In my case, I'm 63, I would say. I'm 63 now, and I would say the last 62 have been toxic. I'm going to give the first year a pass because I don't remember anything except being duct taped to a ceiling in Montana for a couple of hours. Yes, I was duct taped to a ceiling in Montana, but I want you to breathe out that image of me as a little baby being duct taped to a ceiling in Montana. Some of you might say, "Oh, what's the difference between being duct taped to a ceiling in Montana and Louisiana?" And my answer would be, it's more humid in Louisiana. Now, I hope you're in light-fitting clothing. Take a big in-breath. I hope you're in clothing that's so light-fitting that it could actually trip you when you walk, get caught on things. You know how when you have a light-fitting sleeve, it can get caught on a banister or a small child or someone sewing together a handkerchief that they're getting paid 1 cent an hour for. Did you know, folks? I want you to breathe in the fact that prisoners, the United States has 25% of the prisoner population in the world, and only 5% of the population. And we now get our prisoners to work for no money. Companies like Verizon, Starbucks, and many other multinationals make prisoners work for no money, and they fight wildfires for $1 an hour. In California, I want you to breathe that in, that we don't respect human life, that the recidivism rate in prisons is very high. People come out and they go back in, and that most of the people in prison, probably over 75%, are in there not for violent crimes, but for other crimes, not violent. And instead of teaching them how to live lives, we just punish them. I want you to breathe that in. Breathe in the pain. Breathe as you hear that laughter and pain in the background. I always have someone in a box. I always have a person that I have kidnapped, and I put them in a box, and I play them the music of Barry Manilow over and over again in a steel box. And sometimes I will play just the music of a kettle drum with someone screaming in the background, usually a man, usually a men's group, you know, a men's group that goes in the woods and beats on a drum, and they cry about their fathers. So breathe that in, that there's so many prisoners, that we don't take care of each other, that they're screaming all around us. Breathe that in. But now I want you to heal. Excuse the cough, but there's so much toxic air. Sometimes I wonder if the toxic air comes from the people I've locked in the boxes, and maybe they're emitting a toxic air. But now, with your out breath, I want you to see a beautiful oblong green liquid, a beautiful oblong green liquid shape, and it's coming toward you, this beautiful oblong green liquid shape, sort of like what happened to the people in Bhopal, India, when Goodyear had one of their plants explode and all kinds of toxic materials went in the air, and it formed a green cloud coming toward the denizens of Bhopal, India. Pollution and toxicity, not to mention emotional toxicity, patriarchal toxicity, the toxicity of oppression, of imprisonment, but the toxicity of chemicals there's something called forever chemicals that have been found to be globally in our water. That's right, we have poisoned ourselves into extinction. It's just a matter of a few years. Breathe that out. Let that go. Don't let the fact that we have destroyed nature, that we have destroyed our environment, that our system of incarceration is just brutal inhumanity. Breathe that all out. See an oblong green shape coming towards you. And now, with your in-breath, I want you to feel like you're inside someone having a nervous breakdown. I'm sure you all have either experienced a nervous breakdown. I experienced them on a subway or an elevator, any place enclosed, a crawl space. A lot of times I'll watch pornography in a crawl space with a gun to right under my chin. And I want you to be inside someone who is having a nervous breakdown, and you feel every cell in their body just in absolute torment. But because you have light-fitting clothes on and you've seen an oblong green shape, it really doesn't affect you too much. Just breathe that in. Now with your out breath, I want you to see yourself being chased by a hate group. You have a peace sign. Yes, you have a peace sign. And a hate group is chasing you because it's in their name. Hate group, that's what they do. They chase people who they feel like they can intimidate, like the brown shirts in Nazi Germany and fascist Italy. That is what's going to happen in America very shortly. The Christian evangelicals, all that fascism that's coming down the pike because there has been a breakdown and an incredible disconnect from the oligarchs who take all of our wealth, and the only thing that you, the average citizen, has, if you're lucky, are these meditation tapes. That's all you have. But the fascism is coming for you, no matter how many golden balls of light you see in your yoga classes. You can't escape the fascism. And I want you to breathe that in. Breathe that in as the wildfires engulf all of nature, including human beings, because profit comes before people. Okay, I hope you had a good meditation. Breathe it all out and quietly crawl into your kitchen and collapse in your own urine.
Thanks for joining us for another guided meditation with Eddie Pepitone.
Hey everybody, welcome to Apocalypse Soon, the interview segment. I am Eddie Pepitone, and we're interviewing from the Idiot Box Comedy Club, where I just did 2 nights, and Eric Trundy is with me today, one of the funniest dudes I know. He's from Boston, and he settled here in North Carolina for some reason. Eric, welcome.
Thanks, Eddie.
Yeah. Tell me, how did you wind up in North Carolina? If it isn't a story involving the law, because I know you get. And look, folks, a lot of comedians have all kinds of scrapes with the law, and Eric is no exception. You know, we're people who live on the edge. We're people who are wanted in a lot of states. But how'd you wind up in North Carolina?
My sister moved to Roanoke, Virginia, to go to college. I had a bunch of kids. We had grown up in New Bedford, Mass. You talk about whaling,
Yes.
the whaling industry all the time. Whaling. I got to say it that way because nobody can understand what I mean. But I grew up in New Bedford, Mass, which is like the whaling capital of the world. It's also like just a horrible place to raise kids. So,
is it? New Bedford is a horrible place?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Really?
And look at you, fancy man.
Keep talking. I just got paid, and I'm getting a check, but I'm pretending to listen to Eric.
I just moved to the South. Better place to raise the kids, man.
I see. So it was for raising kids.
Yeah, man. I didn't want them to grow up the same place I grew up. It was just I did not enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Oh wow, is like New Bedford? I don't know it that well. Is it like where, that kind of like working class Boston stuff?
Yeah,
like
pretty much.
The
man.
Departed and
It's
The Enchanted,
the Enchanted.
The Fucked.
Herman Melville wrote most of Moby Dick there.
He did.
Yes. Yeah. So when you were ranting about whaling on the last
Holy
podcast,
shit!
Yes,
By the way, that's amazing because according to my guru, who is Chris Hedges, this social commentator guy who's a great scholar, he claims that Moby Dick is maybe the best fucking novel, or it's right up there.
Really?
And it's basically Moby Dick is the novel, and the whole like Ahab going after the whale Moby.
Oh, spoilers!
And not Moby the vegan who does that electronica stuff, and you kind of don't know where Moby's at really, because electronica music to me is very much like, what the fuck are you doing? What do you want?
what
do you want?
Induce?
Yeah, what are you trying to do? Like when you listen to Lou Reed, you know that he was a heroin addict and he was angry and all that shit. But Moby, you don't know. But anyway, so the whole book, the whole novel, Moby Dick, is a metaphor for capitalism and how, and Melville knew back then that the ship was sinking and all that stuff. So I have to read that, but I hear it's really hard to read. Did you ever try to read it?
No,
Since you're from New Bedford.
You know what's funny is so I'm from there, and they take you to the museum, and we got statues. The high school I went to, the mascot is the Whalers. It's like they just celebrate how great they were at killing.
I know.
It's just
I know.
It's my favorite animal, man.
Yes, I love these. They're majestic.
Yes,
now, like when people are on a beach and they see like a whale kind of breaching a little bit, they're like, "Oh my god, a whale!" It's the majesty of fucking nature, and these guys went and harpooned them.
Just ridiculous.
Yeah. So, Eric, you dig the comedy scene here in North Carolina?
Yeah,
I know you're the type of guy who could fucking be anywhere. Like, I feel like if you were in the Somalia comedy scene, and there's a lot.
I heard that's a good one.
Well, there is one bananas in Somalia.
With a Z?
What?
Bananas with a Z?
Yes. But it's an actual just a thing of bananas, but that people perform around. But tell us about how you get doing it out here, and do you do a bunch of traveling? What do you do?
I used to, man. So I grew up. I just love comedy, man. There's been times in my life where it's the only thing I've loved.
I know, dude.
And that's how I found you. And you were the Bitter Buddha, and all that documentary was my plane movie. I watched it for years. You know what I mean? First time I saw you on Bobcat's show at the Improv in L.A., I went to see you and Sean Patton.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and that was the first time I ever got to meet you and see you.
Holy shit.
So then when I was here, man, I was like, I can't fucking not do it anymore. I have to try doing it. And,
it's like with a real comedian, when someone's a real comedian, they know it. It's like you can't not do it.
Yeah, it's a compulsion.
It's a compulsion.
It really is.
It's how a lot of comedians are built. Like, we have addictive personalities. We're just like, we need shit.
It's all the drugs, man. You
know?
This is like what feels better than when it goes well, So, I've been here, and I've toyed with moving a few times, but every time I get near anybody who gives a shit about money or popularity or celebrity, and then I'm just I get sick to my fucking stomach, and then just like that labyrinth you have to run through. Everybody's telling you if you are funny or all this bullshit, and then I'm here, and Jenny has this club, and
this is your home club, right? The Idiot Box.
10 years. They gave me the keys 6 months in, and I was like, all right. And then I was homeless a little while, so I would just sleep in the fucking club. They didn't know it, and I turned the lights on and do 2 hours on stage, record it, go through, take notes, all this shit, And
wow.
I don't know. There's something about being here that.
Yeah.
And I talk to all my friends who are in bigger cities, and I'm so happy for them that they enjoy it. But I'm mentally ill, so living in New York doesn't sound fun. And if I go to LA, I'll just be homeless in warm weather. You know what I mean? So,
dude.
it's, staying here, I guess
Yeah.
it's a little bit of the easier route, but it's also
Yeah.
just what feels good to me. And for a while, I was traveling a ton. I was on the road a lot, and then pandemic happened, and then I was like, oh fuck, I get to quit. This is awesome.
I know, I was like that too, dude. And then a year in, and not to interrupt you, but it's too much of you and not enough
Yeah,
of
for
me.
sure, I agree.
Is about a year in, man, of the pandemic. I was like, at first, I was like, oh fuck, I'm never going to do anything again, and this is great. But then, after a year, I really needed to perform.
Yeah.
I really needed to perform.
When you,
I started recognizing that I would be depressed.
Yeah, I was. It was weird. It's my depression kind of lifted for a little bit. My anxiety got a little bit easier, and those are things I struggle with every day. And,
Yeah, me too, dude.
Yeah, and, you saw me. I came in yesterday. I was crying in the car before I walked in, and then
Were you really?
Yeah,
I saw you, and first time I had seen Eric, in a year.
Yeah.
And I just knew you were
said,
doing
"You are
great.
right." And I didn't want to tell you, but I just
I
struggle
know.
with not being honest. And,
I know. It's
so
so
I was like,
fucked
yeah,
up.
hey, fucking bad. And then
Well, the first time you see someone in a year,
Yeah.
you don't want to be like, dude, I was just crying in my car. And because then I would have had to said, excuse me,
Yeah.
I have to leave for a few minutes and not come back.
Yeah, for
but no,
sure.
I hear you, man.
Yeah, and so when you came out of the pandemic and you felt like you had to go, perform again, was it the same as it was before? Did you fall right back into it? Was it a wholly different thing? Was the anxiety high, low?
Dude, you know what was wild is that my first show back, it was when still a lot of comedians were not performing, but I had just been vaccinated, and I was like, all right, I think I'll be fine. I'll be okay. And it was at the Comedy Store, and it was a very limited seating deal in their smaller room called the Original Room, and I didn't think I was going to get emotional, but I actually did. Like, I actually felt like so grateful to be in front of people again. And I'm a guy who stuffs down my feelings. You ever see when someone is stuffed into a trunk? Like, they don't want the cops to see the person they've stuffed. That's how I stuff down my feelings. Like, get in there and don't you fucking make a sound. That kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
So it felt like actually emotional to perform.
It gave me a couple things I got out of it. First thing is Jenny was keeping mics going here through the pandemic. She bought the bar next door so that we could have an outdoor space to perform.
That's right.
And so
you
we
told
had
me
12 fucking people here, and it was just like it was keeping me alive.
Yes,
it was.
Isn't that wild? We as comics, and I think this is true too, because I love analyzing the psychology of what we do and who we are and stuff. And I think we have trouble being intimate with people. And I heard this about Johnny Carson. They said Carson was only truthful on stage.
Wow.
And I related to that.
Really?
And I think, we have trouble sometimes being intimate with people, and so we need to talk. Yeah. We need to fucking express.
I said it on stage today. It's like, this is my preferred method of communication.
Yes.
I'd rather be on stage talking to a group of people than one-on-one telling you exactly how I feel. It's weird.
Because you feel like you're burdening.
I really do. I feel like I'm a burden to most people, you know what I mean? I don't like to ask for things. And, you end up struggling alone. And then no matter how many times somebody tells you that, oh, no, reach out the way, you still feel like that. So on stage, it feels like, well, you fucking paid for it. So I feel like, I feel like I get to talk to you.
No, but plus then we can use our upset and our angst, the anxiety and the fucking rage and channel it.
That's the thing I love the most. It's this thing I'm coming to now is I hate the idea that I can only have one emotion on stage. We got to be happy, and I think that's bullshit because that's not how I live my life. I chase happy so often it fucks me up constantly. And
chase happiness,
that's the only useful emotion that we have, and it's like every fucking emotion is useful. When I am in pain, when I am suffering, when I am anxious, those are all useful things for me, and to hide them in the pursuit of happy is bullshit. So I like going on stage now, and obviously when I'm on shows with other people, I got to try to do the fun stuff. But I really I love what you do, and I try to do a little bit of it too, where
you go in the moment.
I do. I try to, and I want to tell you exactly how I feel, and I love silence now.
I see that when you perform.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, I see that you are like in the moment, and you're ready to go deeper.
Yeah.
Into that
and
moment.
I'm fighting it a lot. I fight it a lot.
I think you should do it more. I mean, this is comic to comic. I think that that may be like a really big strength you have. Is like just fucking being in the moment and speaking what's going on, and maybe using the audience to get you into that moment.
I feel a little guilty sometimes.
You do?
So there's a couple times Barry Crimmins was, a hero of mine, and we ended up being friends before he passed. And
what a great guy.
He
was through so much too. And Bobcat directed a movie called Lucky.
Call Me Lucky.
About Barry Crimmins. If you haven't checked out a documentary about the comedian Barry Crimmins, who passed away,
instrumental in the Boston comedy
scene, right?
The Ding Ho, all that, and then also protecting children on the internet.
That's right.
All of that work.
Because Barry was molested.
He was, and so we bonded over that because we both had that background. And he was. So, anyways, I brought it up to him that I had this realization that sometimes people come into the shows and I would talk about my heavy shit, and maybe they were hiding from that and they just wanted to giggle, and I felt.
I know. I wrestle with that a little too.
What he said to me made a lot of sense. He says, when you're headlining and people know what they're coming to see, then do whatever the fuck you want, and then use your judgment all the other times. And so when I host, I try to never do it. Like, I wanted to do this bit about my mother. I think it's cute that she still wants to fuck my dad, even though they haven't been together in 40 years and there was some domestic abuse. You know what I mean? It's a whole fucking thing. But, I can't do that in the host spot. You know what I mean?
In the what?
In the host spot. I can't, you know what I mean? But I love that.
That is funny.
I love all that shit, and I love talking. I love talking about fucking everything, man.
Yeah. I would love to see you do a fucking hour.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah.
I would love to see you just fucking get into that fucking insane Pandora's box that is Eric Trundy and just fucking go with it. Yeah. Have you done an hour?
I have, yeah.
Who did you inflict that on?
Multiple people. I got pretty good. I got pretty good at building material, and I like
building material. Yeah.
One of the reasons I love watching you is you never know what's riffing and what's the material,
right.
and it's seamless, and then you get lost intentionally, and you find your way back. And I think that shit's brilliant. And I can't do a set list if I have a set list and I have a list of ideas.
Yes.
But if I say I'm going to do this in order, I cannot fucking do it.
Yeah, we work the same like that.
Yeah, I think
like
so.
I will have like ideas that I want. Like lately I've had this idea, again, more of me,
Please.
But lately I've had this idea of like a cat. Everybody thinks a cat is so cute when they are looking out a window and pointing at the cat.
Fantastic.
But, me, like staring out a window.
It's weird, yeah.
It's like, oh, that isn't cool.
I was hoping you were going to do your dog bit with the Boston Dynamics thing tonight.
The what?
Did it last night, the robotic drone, the dogs, cats. It's so fucking good, dude.
What was that again?
It was,
because that's the thing about improvising. Yeah, go ahead.
You love dogs so much. And they took your favorite animal and they made it a murder.
They weaponized it.
They weaponized it. And then it was, what would a weaponized cat be?
Oh, yes. I have to develop that.
It's so good, man.
I have to develop that. See, that's one thing. That's why I tape. Do you tape all your sets?
I tape every set and I listen to it. I used to, when I was doing 5-10 minutes, I had a rule that I would have to listen to it 5 times that night. And if I didn't, I would listen to it 10 times the next day. And it's a punishment. But I find, because I'm riffing and I have a line or an inflection, it's like, it really, because I'm so lazy, I don't want to write. And so this is how I, when you did the one-liner at the end, he's like, hey, I don't want to write you. I can, but I feel the same way. I want to just talk naturally. As long as I know the beats, I know what the funny things are, I hope I can just start on the direction and then find my way.
Right.
And so, I record every set, and that's kept me from having to do any real hard work.
It still worked to me because I don't know about you, but first of all, I don't do what you do. I have at least a 24-hour rule where I cannot listen to it for 24 hours because I'm way too close to it.
It's a great idea too. Because you can ruin a fun time.
Yes.
Oh, that was great. And then you listen to it and you're like, 3 people
that's
left.
happened to me.
Yeah.
Where I think I had a great set when I used to get high for shows.
Yeah.
When I used to be on pot, I used to hit a couple of veins that I thought were brilliant, and I would go off stage and go, "Holy shit, you're funnier high, man!"
Yeah, dude.
And then I would listen to it, and I realized that I was so disconnected sometimes.
Yeah.
When I was stoned like that.
I wrestle with that. I stopped drinking a few years back, and I
brag.
Hey, everything's good. And so I started smoking weed, and then I go on stage and I started doing all the things that I used to complain for all the pot comics. Like, oh, I'm so stoned. I'm like, shut the fuck up, man.
I know you become. I have complained. So much about people I've become.
Yes, for sure.
That I catch myself now,
So, so I like finding one thing that I said on stage that's original that I never said. And a lot of times, and here's the thing I'm realizing, is that sometimes things are just one single use only. I've had bits and I've tried to do them another time and it just didn't work. I have this one thing where I pick up the mic stand and I sweep it like a metal detector. And I go around and everybody and I say, I know what you're thinking. What's the metal detector thing? And I'm like, I'm not looking for metal. I'm looking for laughs. Who got them? And I start yelling at everybody. And I did it one time. It murdered.
It killed.
And then I did it the next night. It was crickets.
Nothing.
Everybody looking at me like, what the fuck are you even trying to do?
Yeah.
The energy wasn't there.
Yes, and that is such a fucking wild thing about comedy when I listen to the tapes too, because I've had exactly the same experience, like doing a bit that kills and then doing the same bit in my head anyway, and it gets crickets. And a lot of times it is the energy. A lot of times it's just, how every dynamic of every show is different.
Yeah.
And it's a puzzle sometimes, man.
How do you feel before you go on stage? Are you pretty much always in the same headspace, or is it a battle every day? Is the anxiety still there for you?
No, when I'm in a groove like I am now, which is traveling and doing an hour almost every night, I start to get pretty fucking relaxed.
Good, man.
You know what I mean?
Which
I have to watch out for.
Yeah.
Because there's a bad show waiting to happen.
Absolutely.
When I'm not.
That's when it comes. Yeah, when there's not a little bit of anxiety. There are shows where I dry heave. I'll dry heave before a show. Yeah. And every one of those is good. Every time, if you catch me outside the building, dry heave, and
it's painful. It's what we do. It can be so painful. I remember, and I tell this story, when I first started in stand-up, I would be dry heaving, throwing up nothing before shows when I first started. And I left, I didn't do stand-up for years. I had to do like theater and improv because to be in front of an audience alone is difficult.
It's a different thing. We had a guy come in to the open mic this Thursday, and he was an Army Ranger, and he was missing one leg. And he went on stage, and we have the most one-legged comics in the country. We had 3 of them in one night.
Are you serious?
I swear to God, it was fucking wild. One of them was my friend, another's a local comic, and this new guy who, all have one leg. And so he comes up, and he's an Army Ranger, and he goes on stage and he's struggling, and everybody's been polite. We told him it was his first time, so everybody's right. And then we get off, and I'm saying bye to everybody as they're walking out the door, and he comes up and he says, "This is fucking difficult." This is an Army Ranger. You know what I mean?
This is an Army Ranger.
He jumps out of planes and he's like, "This is fucking difficult," and it is, man. I think my opinion on this shit, because I've loved it since the early 80s when I listened to it on 8 tracks. When I was a kid, it's the only fucking thing I had was Steve Martin and Richard Pryor and all these fucking Rodney Dangerfield, on 8 tracks. And
8 tracks.
And I've grown so much to realize that if you asked 1,000 people to name every form of art, 2 or 3 of them would say comedy, and they're on their way to an open mic. You know what I mean? And nobody else would consider it an art form. But
I know. I agree. I think that's changed.
I think a little bit, but I don't know how if you're writing a song, it just has to rhyme sometimes.
It's true.
Maybe when
It's
you're doing
true.
comedy, there's no fucking music, and
It's
every
right.
word has to be specifically placed. And you live or die in the fucking moment.
So
if
true.
you make a bad song, you just don't put it out. You don't fucking record it in front of 100 people every night. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then go home and deal with yourself.
Yeah.
It's an art form, and you suffer for it.
Yeah. Well, on that note, that what we do, what Eric's point was, and I want to reiterate that, is that we are better than you and that we do the real work in life while you go to your offices or, I don't know, do
Work from
construction jobs or join the military.
That's right.
Jumping out of planes. We do the real hard. Anyway, Eric, thank you so much. Where can people find you? I think you have a podcast as well. Could you promote yourself here?
I have a podcast called Never Been Happier. There's only 2 episodes out. My 4th episode will be my 100th episode. It's real fucking weird. I got puppets and we cry all the time. It's really, I love it. It's a lot of work, so it doesn't come out too often. People can find me on Instagram for now. It's Eric Trundy.
Okay.
I think I'm getting off of social media, but it doesn't matter. I don't care. Eddie, I love you so much.
I love you too.
You're my favorite comedian, and you're a lovely human being, and your influence on me is it's very real, and I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, man. I love you too, buddy. And it's one of the great things about doing comedy is meeting guys like you. Like, we meet kindred souls,
Yeah, man.
So thank you for coming on, Eric. And we'll be right back here on Apocalypse soon.
And now, driving in the rain with Eddie Pepitone.
The rain came down so hard. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I had cut my finger on the steering wheel. I was driving my Uber /Lyft /Instacart /DoorDash /Riss /Therapy Mobile /Bookmobile /Blood Pressure Mobile. And I had cut my finger on a burr on the steering wheel. And the rain came down so hard, I started to cry in the car. I knew that the planet warming meant that the sky, the atmosphere was holding more moisture. It was like with Hurricane Harvey in Houston. The rain was so heavy it killed people. People were flooded out of their homes. But here I was in monsoonal rain in Los Angeles, driving, trying to deliver a burrito to a stoner in the Palisades overlooking the Pacific Ocean, the warm Pacific Ocean. I was on Highway 1, which snakes around the coast of LA up into San Francisco. It snakes so much that you want to vomit. You get nauseous. But that wasn't what was bothering me today. It was the heaviness of the rain. The rain came down like the sudden news of the death of a child. It was that heavy. The rain came down like a breaking news item that a building collapsed in Miami. Actually, that isn't the worst news when you think about it, right? Miami, who gives a fuck? Let's get rid of all those people. Anyway, the rain came down as I drove on the coast, and I finally made it to Palisades. The burrito was still warm. I had the burrito in a warmer that DoorDash gave to me. DoorDash said to me, if you return this warmer in shitty condition, you will be charged $85 because that's what the warmer cost. I said, I don't have $85. I'm living hand to mouth to hand. I'm scratching out an existence. I'm living by my wits. We're in a collapse and I'm trying to make enough money just to get by. What do you mean $85 for a warmer? And just then I saw the address of where I was delivering the burrito, and a beautiful woman came out of her house. She was long-legged. She had black hair. One thing that was disturbing was she had a tattoo on her forehead that said, "Kill the police." I, having been an ex-policeman for 12 years in Pasadena, was a little alarmed. And I also wondered why a gorgeous, gorgeous woman would put a tattoo on her head. I said to her as I rolled down the window and the rain bashed both of us. The rain smacked both of us like Joe Louis smacking Max Schmeling, the German, the great white hope who tried to beat Lewis. I believe they split 2 matches, but I could be wrong. My boxing knowledge was never good. Actually, my knowledge on everything was ballpark knowledge. Ballpark knowledge, meaning I was perhaps in the ballpark. I think Schmeling may have beaten. It didn't matter. The rain was smacking us around like a powerful boxer. Let's just leave it at that. And I said to her before I gave her the burrito, I said, "If you want this burrito, you're going to have to tell me why you have that tattoo on your forehead." And she said, "It's just a henna tattoo. I had it done last night as a goof." I don't really believe that. I don't believe that. I just wanted to keep it on and take selfies and send it to my conservative friends to get a giggle. I said, "Oh, okay." And I handed her the chicken burrito. I said, "Extra avocado, right?" And she said, "You bet." She took the burrito and she started to walk away, and I yelled, "Hey, do you want to make a go of it? Me and you want to make a go of it? I just drive around in this Uber / Lyft / Instacart / DoorDash / Risk / Bookmobile / Blood Pressure Mobile / Therapy on Wheels / Meals on Wheels. Do you want to make a go of it? We could live in the car. I've been living in the car lately." She looked at me and said, "I'd rather put a rifle to my chest than live with you in that car." I said, "Fair enough," and I drove off into the dark night, snaking around the coast. I put on Chris Isaac's Wicked Game. No one loves anyone.
Thanks for joining us for another Driving in the Rain with Eddie Pepitone.
Hey, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that podcast, Apocalypse Soon, the podcast with no upside. That's right. I'll be continuing to bring you these podcasts as long as I stay alive in this industrial nightmare. Even though I am surrounded by beautiful nature, I know we live in industrial nightmare ruled by the oligarchic warmongering pricks. And I'm so glad that you guys listen to the podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, please review Apocalypse Soon, any place you can review podcasts. Become a Patreon member, patreon.com/Eddie Pepitone. Yada, yada, yada. You know all the drills. It's so funny that I just keep repeating the same stuff because that's what you're supposed to do. The marketing people tell you, oh, you have to say do this and do that. Meanwhile, you're just people who live their own goddamn lives and don't care. You don't care. You don't care. But I hope you enjoyed the podcast, and go to eddiepepitone.com to see where I'm playing, and we will talk to to you next week.